est-ce qu'on m'entend bien en arrière? Parce qu'on veut m'entendre. Est-ce qu'on m'entend? Encore plus fort. OK, je vais parler plus fort. C'est d'aligner le micro également. Merci à tous et à toutes d'être ici aujourd'hui pour le lancement de quelqu'un que j'estime beaucoup. Mon nom est Benoît Langevin. Je suis conseiller de la ville pour le district de Bois-de-Liesse. Je travaille à la ville de Montréal depuis maintenant 8 ans, deuxième mandat. Quelqu'un de très impliqué dans la communauté de Pierrefonds-Est, mais de l'ensemble du territoire de l'Ouest de l'île. Comme ex-fondateur de Action Jeunesse de l'Ouest de l'île, comme personne qui a aussi cofondé le premier refuge pour personnes en situation d'itinérance dans l'Ouest. Je peux vous dire une chose, c'est que comme acteur social, comme personne qui est impliquée, j'ai envie de dire, jusqu'au cou dans sa communauté, ça me fait extrêmement plaisir de m'impliquer dans la campagne de quelqu'un en qui j'ai confiance, en qui j'ai pas aucune inquiétude de m'associer en tant qu'acteur communautaire, en tant que personne qui a probablement toutes fait les portes à Pierrefonds-Roxboro comme élu, qui a rencontré les citoyens, qui a essayé de bâtir une confiance avec son milieu. Moi, j'ai des souvenirs de Frank Baylis aux dernières inondations en 2019. J'ai les souvenirs de quelqu'un qui était au Parlement du Canada, puis quand est arrivée une catastrophe naturelle, ben Frank, ben, il était habillé en jeans, avec ses bottes de pluie, avec une pelle à la main. C'est le gars sur qui on peut se fier quand arrive une crise dans notre communauté. C'est un gars en qui on peut avoir confiance, puis c'est pour ça qu'aujourd'hui, j'ai accepté de prendre le chapeau de maître de cérémonie pour le lancement de sa campagne. Je suis très heureux de voir qu'il y a autant de gens ici ce soir qui soutiennent également Frank. On va faire le protocole, le protocolaire. Peut-être mentionner que nous reconnaissons que l'île de Montréal est située sur le territoire traditionnel non cédé de la nation Kanien'kehá:ka, un lieu qui longtemps a été point de rencontre pour de nombreux peuples autochtones. Nous honorons la présence des contributions durables des Kanien'kehá:ka et de toutes les communautés autochtones qui ont pris soin de ce territoire depuis des générations. Nous nous engageons à respecter leur culture, leur histoire, leurs relations, continuer avec le territoire alors que nous avançons ensemble. Ce soir, nous avons quelques invités qui vont s'adresser à vous pour justement mettre la table sur ce pourquoi on est ici. Quel genre de personnes s'associent, s'entourent de Frank pour le lancement de cette dite campagne-là? On a ce soir avec nous Louis-Edgar Jean-François qui nous reçoit, qui vient du groupe 3737. Jean-François, Monsieur Jean-François, je vous cède la parole.
Merci énormément, Benoît. Écoutez, pour moi, c'est vraiment un plaisir, un honneur de pouvoir vous accueillir ici. Considérez-vous chez vous. Le groupe 3737 incarne plusieurs valeurs. On s'est installé ici dans le quartier Saint-Michel. Ceux qui le savent, le quartier Saint-Michel, il n'y a pas si longtemps, était le deuxième quartier le plus pauvre au Canada, après Montréal-Nord qui est juste à côté. Nous sommes installés ici d'une façon intentionnelle et stratégique pour voir dans quelle mesure on pouvait mettre en place un écosystème. Un écosystème pour supporter les gens issus de l'immigration, les gens issus de la diversité ethnoculturelle, pour qu'on puisse optimiser ce qu'on pense, c'est à l'époque, être des communautés avec un potentiel sous-exploité. Notre but, c'est d'utiliser le véhicule de l'entrepreneuriat des gens issus de la diversité ethnoculturelle pour créer de la richesse, créer des ressources, créer des emplois, et faire en sorte qu'une portion de ces ressources soit réinvestie dans les collectivités pour avoir un impact social. On a eu quand même de beaux résultats. On a accompagné plus de 4000 entrepreneurs, et dès la création de plus de 2500 emplois, et collectivement, nos entreprises ont généré plus de 200 millions de dollars de chiffre d'affaires. Ça a commencé ici dans le quartier Saint-Michel. Nos résultats ont parlé et ont fait en sorte de nous amener à étendre nos tentacules à l'échelle nationale, avec 11 bureaux maintenant à travers le Canada. Le groupe 3737, je disais tout à l'heure, on fonctionne avec des valeurs humaines. On met l'humain devant en premier. Avant la différence culturelle, la différence physique, on fait vraiment en sorte d'exploiter le plus possible et d'optimiser le potentiel de l'humain. Et c'est ça qui a expliqué une partie de nos succès. Frank Baylis est une personne qui incarne justement l'humain. Oui, on veut essayer de créer du succès avec nos entrepreneurs, on veut faire en sorte que nos entrepreneurs puissent développer leur projet entrepreneurial ou leur organisation respective pour démontrer une forme de succès, ce qu'on pense Frank a démontré de façon magistrale. Mais c'est son humanité, je pense, qui fait une énorme différence et qui incarne justement les valeurs du groupe 3737, d'où le pourquoi nous avons accepté de vous accueillir et accueillir cet homme avec du succès, mais cet homme humain qui est Frank Baylis. Ce que vous devez savoir également, au cours des dernières années, on a été, le groupe 3737, ceux qui connaissent notre rôle, connaissent aussi mon rôle, on a été des catalystes sur la création de différentes ressources pour aider les communautés noires du Canada. So we've put together different initiatives to be able to support the Black community of Canada. It's close to $900 million in terms of concrete resources that we've put together collectively. We'll never say we'll have the pretension of doing that work all by ourselves. We did that as a collective. Collective from individuals from the private sector, from the public sector, from the academic sector, but as well from the community sector. At the end, we've worked collectively to create amazing results. And I remember when we started at the beginning to sensibilize and bring actually the decision makers to bring and put together these resources, it was a challenge. But what was amazing is we worked with individuals such as Frank Baylis, who right off the bat became an advocate to make sure that we see these important resources put in the forefront to be able to empower the Black community of Canada. Today, we're glad to say that these initiatives, in terms of impact, have helped in the creation of 7,000 jobs across Canada. We've been able to generate more than $420 million of revenues through Black initiatives across the country. We've been able to, those non-for-profit, add more than 20,000 volunteers to be able to support them in their day-to-day activities. Also, when we talk about non-for-profit, building their capacity means adding 2 new sources of revenues to their projects, and as well adding an average of 3 new board members to their projects. So as you can see, with these numbers, the impact has been tremendous. And without someone like Frank, someone who believes actually in the potential of this community, an untapped potential historically for different reasons, and reasons that mainly are around issues of access, it wouldn't have been possible to be able to kind of transform not only the Black community, but to transform Canada as a whole. So yes, please. So again, it's a pleasure to welcome you to continue that work and our approach of working as an ecosystem to be able to provide sufficient resources to this community that has created, that has transformed, has transformed Canada in the last 5 years. So, without further ado, I would like to, again, I'm not sure, should I give you the, okay, I'll give back the mic to Benoit. So again, thank you for this, thank you for being here, and again, we're here to support, and we'll work diligently with Frank and everybody that wants to kind of dynamize those important resources to be able to support the Black community of Canada. Thank you very much.
On est chez vous quand même. Je ne voudrais pas m'imposer, mais c'est moi le maître de cérémonie pour ce soir. Peut-être quelque chose d'autre à mentionner de Frank Baylis, là. Si vous arrivez à me trouver un non-profit où Frank n'est pas impliqué sur soit un CA, soit au travers du financement, soit au travers de n'importe quelle implication, il arrive une crise, je vais vous dire, moi j'ai entendu le nom de Frank Baylis avant et après même avoir fait le Parlement. Donc, une autre des raisons pourquoi j'ai aucune hésitation à soutenir Frank dans sa démarche de devenir notre premier ministre du Canada, parce que j'y crois. Moi, j'y crois que le Parti libéral va reprendre, il va reprendre ses lettres de noblesse, puis il va reprendre le chemin qu'il doit prendre. Puis je pense que c'est le leadership comme celui de Frank Baylis qui va nous permettre de s'y rendre. Puis en parlant des organismes communautaires, il faut que je vous présente quelqu'un aussi qui aurait quelques mots à vous adresser, qui fait un travail extraordinaire à Pierrefonds-Roxborough, à Perspective communautaire, qu'est-ce que je dis là? À Projet communautaire de Pierrefonds, qui est le PDG qui est avec moi, M. Michael Leclerc. Michael, if you'd like to address a couple words for our friend Frank.
Merci, madame. Merci tout le monde. Bonsoir, mesdames, messieurs et distingués invités. Mon nom, comme Benoît a dit, est Michael Leclerc et depuis près de 10 ans, j'ai eu le privilège de découvrir les qualités exceptionnelles qui font de Frank Baylis un grand leader et une personne dont le Canada a largement besoin en ce moment. J'ai rencontré Frank pour la première fois lors d'une levée de fonds au profit de soins palliatifs. Et là, par une coïncidence improbable, nous nous sommes liés par notre intérêt commun du cinéma. Un lien que nous continuons d'entretenir à ce jour. And frankly, this lack of pretension, this approachability, coupled with a disarming enthusiasm and genuine desire to listen, to chat, to learn, is what sets Frank apart and makes him very unique. Beaucoup d'entre vous ont sans doute entendu parler de la générosité et du sens de la philanthropie de Frank. J'ai commencé à travailler dans le monde OBNL il y a environ 7 ans et depuis, je peux affirmer avec certitude que Frank se soucie profondément des gens, de l'importance de la famille, d'une communauté forte, dynamique et inclusive, et de l'entraide, particulièrement durant les moments difficiles. Whether it's rolling up his sleeves to help with sandbags during a flood, taking the time to listen to the harrowing plight of street kids, or stepping in to steer a valued community organization through a pandemic, Frank is always there. Frank n'est pas un simple prétendant distant. Il est présent, accessible, respectueux et très à l'écoute, désireux d'entendre tous les points de vue. C'est un homme d'action, un joueur d'équipe, quelqu'un qui veut faire avancer les choses et notamment quelqu'un qui veut toujours aider les gens et veut faire la différence. And I don't know how he does it, but Frank still conveys a sense of wonder, excitement, and optimism about the world, and in particular, Canada's potential to be a dominant and respected player on the world stage. These are the exceptional qualities that set him apart, and these are the qualities needed for the next leader of the Liberal Party. Merci beaucoup. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Leclerc. As Mr. Leclerc was mentioning, Frank Baylis is the definition of a bridge builder. Frank comes from the corporate world, but his interest into community is far beyond what we think it is. It's even more. And that's the introduction to my next person who will address a couple words in behalf of Frank, Madame Jade Doucet-Martineau, who is PDG of Puzzle Medical Device. Madame Jade.
Bonsoir à tous, je m'appelle Jade, je suis cofondatrice et PDG de Puzzle Medical Devices, où on a développé une pompe cardiaque pour les patients qui ont besoin d'un nouveau cœur. Au courant des 7 dernières années, on a grandi l'équipe à 40 personnes aujourd'hui. On a créé un environnement qui permettait à chacun de faire le travail qui faisait de l'innovation. Et on a réussi à obtenir en fait la désignation de Breakthrough de la part de la Food and Drug Administration des États-Unis. Mais plus important, on a réussi à traiter avec succès nos 7 premiers patients lors de nos études cliniques dernièrement. Pendant notre parcours, on a été inspiré par une start-up à succès canadienne en particulier, donc Baylis Medical. Baylis, leur dévouement, l'innovation, la qualité a vraiment été un modèle pour des startups comme la mienne pour devenir à notre tour un succès. Last year, we got the chance to be invited to visit their facility to meet with their team, and from the moment we crossed their doors, it became clear to us why Baylis was so widely respected. All of their people, some of whom have been there for over 20 years, are fueled by a common vision to improve healthcare for patients around the world. They shared stories of overcoming challenges and pioneering new technologies. And it wasn't about business success. It was about creating a culture where people are dedicated to making a real difference in patients' lives. And this, you could feel it from each and every team member, from the clean room technician to the highest levels of leadership. With Frank's vision, Baylis Medical has transcended our Canadian borders, earning international recognition for its medical breakthroughs. And it's not just the technology that's impressive. By developing top-of-the-class talent, fostering a culture of collaboration, and creating exponential growth through international partnerships, Frank has enhanced both patient healthcare and our country's reputation for excellence. With Frank's proven record of forging strong alliances, negotiating beneficial outcomes, and delivering tangible results, he's well positioned to secure Canada's interest, especially in the face of tough global challenges right now, and pave the way for our nation to thrive. I want a Prime Minister who can bring Canadians together, foster innovation, and elevate our country on the international stage. And I believe that Frank Baylis is that leader. Merci beaucoup. Merci, Frank.
Sans plus tarder, la raison pourquoi on est tous venus ici ce soir, pour soutenir quelqu'un en qui on a confiance dans cette course du Parti libéral du Canada. On va tous être là, je l'espère, à s'impliquer dans sa campagne, à justement envoyer des courriels, d'appeler nos proches partout au Canada, justement pour aider Frank à aller chercher les memberships nécessaires pour pouvoir justement avoir une candidature dans la course et s'assurer qu'on ait le leader qui nous représente, le leader qui est à la couleur de notre identité ici au Québec, à Montréal. Frank Baylis. Ah ouais, un petit peu d'énergie, là. Go, Frank! Go, Frank! Go! Go, Frank! On va avoir besoin de toute votre énergie, tous les samedis, de Frank. On voit un premier ministre comme Frank Baylis à Ottawa. Costanza. Mr. Barrett, the mic is yours, the floor is yours.
Okay, I can't beat that. Wow, ok. Merci d'être venu ce soir. Je suis tellement touché avec mon lancement que je me suis entouré des amis. I'm surrounded by friends, and I can't think of a more better way, a more beautiful way to start my campaign officially. Et pour le lancer ici à Montréal, la belle ville de Montréal, la ville où mes parents qui sont issus de l'immigration sont venus et qui se sont rencontrés ici. So, Montreal is the city of my parents. It is a city where my mom and dad emigrated to. My mom emigrated here from Barbados, and my dad immigrated from England. And they met in Montreal in the 1950s. And the story is that they fell in love, but I know that my dad chased my mom. And he finally caught her, thank God. My mom loved Montreal, but I can tell you something. My mom, who was a colored lady, black lady from Barbados, she also had challenges in Montreal. In the 60s, we forget that people would have racism, overt racism, and they would say to people, we don't hire black people, or we don't hire these kind of people, or that kind of people. That's how it used to be. And that happened to my mother. But when it happened to my mother, people did not know my mother. My mother was a very, very strong lady, bless her soul. And she took that company to court. She took that company to court, and her court case took 12 years. 12 years she fought that court case. And after 12 years, the company was finally found guilty. Now, can you imagine what they were charged? What the fine was after 12 years? We were found guilty. Do you know what the fine was? $25. $25 for 12 years. 12 years battle for $25. But my mom's case was never about money. She wasn't after money. What my mother had done was to set what they call in Canada the precedent-setting case. Before my mom's case, you could discriminate openly. After my mom's case, it was illegal all across Canada. This is the pressure that we do. I tell you this story because it's important to know where my values come from. And my values, like every one of us, they come from our parents. And my mom, she taught us that you stand up for your rights. You stand up for your rights. And my father, who always supported my mother, taught us, his children, that you help those who are standing up for their rights. That it's your duty to also help them. I give you this backstory so that you understand. When I was elected, one of the first challenges we took on was there was a tremendous wave of Islamophobia, attacks against Muslims. And at the local mosque, my friends came to me and said, Frank, we need to do something. It's getting very bad here. And that led myself with Mr. Samir Majroub from the Canadian Muslim Forum to put together a petition called E411. And this petition was simple. It just asked the government to recognize formally that we condemn Islamophobia. And at the time, we worked very hard because electronic petitions, they only have a small window to get signatures. And I am proud to say that we got the most signatures in Canadian history at the time. Over 70,000 signatures in a very short period. Another aspect that I did when I got to Ottawa is I got together with my friend Greg Fergus, Selena Chavez, Emmanuel Dubourg, and we formed the first Black Caucus. And in the Black Caucus, what we said to the government is, yes, there's racism, there's challenges, but black people, we pay our tax like everybody else, and we want investments into our community. That's why we decided to have this event right here, at this incubator. Because this incubator, run by my good friend, Louis Gall, this incubator has been investing in black-led entrepreneurs and having phenomenal results. And I'll come back to that. But it's part of what we wanted to do, was to put it and see the investments into these communities. Then when I left government, I didn't stop, because these things are important to me. And my friend Marvin Rotran in the Jewish community came and said, we're going to create an organization called United Against Hate. And United Against Hate is working to call out racism, discrimination, wherever. And one of the things that we've done is that next month, the government of Canada is going to do an investigation into the rise of anti-Semitism. And it's happening here in our country. In my riding, the local synagogue 2 times firebombed. 2 times. It didn't burn because someone woke up in the middle of the night and saw the fire and called the fire department. This is not acceptable. It's not acceptable to attack our mosques or our synagogues or our churches. And this is why, since I've left, I've been co-president to Non à la loi 21, No to Bill 21. Why? Because Bill 21 discriminates. And we've seen that when it's put to work. I have no problem with what they call laïcité. No problem with saying the state should not promote or attack any religion. That's fine. But the law, the way it's implemented, is not working. And an example of that was a young lady called Fatima who lost her job in Ottawa. She was a young school teacher, young Muslim school teacher. Children liked her, the parents liked her. The school said she was great. Her only thing she did wrong when she wore a hijab, and she lost her job for it. So when I look at Fatima, young Muslim woman, and I look at my mom, young black woman, I see no difference. And my mom is no longer with us, but I know my mom. And my mom would be insisting, you stand with this young lady. You stand with Fatima, and this is why we are fighting Bill 21. So now I'm running for government, and I want to create a country that we're both proud and prosperous. Ça c'est mon défi. Ça c'est notre défi. We want a country where we can be proud of ourselves, and this is having human rights in Canada and abroad, and we want prosperity. And so I have a prosperity agenda. And the prosperity agenda is going to do 3 things. The first thing we're going to do, la première chose que nous allons faire, c'est d'adresser la question de la coût de la vie. Cost of living. La vie abordable. On est rendu. We're at a place now where for the average person, going to the grocery stores, paying their rent, buying a house, it's getting too expensive. It's getting out of hand. So the government has to do something, and we are going to do something together. What we're going to do. We are going to invest in Canadian companies. We're going to invest in Canadian know-how. We're going to invest in our universities. That's what we're doing here at Groupe 3737. If you look at the impact of just a little bit of investment compared to what government spend all over the place, 7,000 jobs created, over $420 million of revenue that the government has done because of Groupe 3736. This building, right here, now we're standing in. This young lady here, Jade Doucet, Martineau, her and her partner, François, 2 young engineers trained right here in Montreal and in the medical field. And they invited me to come and see what they're doing, and I went, wow. I was like, wow. And I called my partner, Chris. I said, next time you come to Montreal, we're coming to see Jad. We have to see Jad and what she's doing. It's incredible. So she asked one of us, would we come on the board and help? And maybe they needed a bit of investment. And we said, yes, we will, what they call in venture capital, we will lead the round. We're going to invest in you, and we're going to see who else wants to come and invest with us. We're going to make an investment. You know the problem we had? Too many people. Have you heard that? Too many people calling up saying, we want to invest too. And you know which ones were the most pushy? The Americans. The Americans were pushing and saying, hey Frank, we're your friend, let us invest too. Frank, we've known you for many years, come on, open the door. We didn't say there's a government grant, no. We didn't say we're helping you at all. They just said, we like this technology, we like these people, we see what they're doing. This is what investing in ourselves does. We don't need to give money to any company to come here. We just need to promote people like Jad and her partner Montreal. When we do this, the other thing I'm going to do is when we go to Ottawa, we're going to put our financial house in order. Yes. We need to put our house in order. That's going to do it. So how we're going to do it is like this. When you run your business, when you run your institutions, you have to be fiscally responsible. If you keep spending money you don't have, it comes back to bite you. And what's happened is our dollar is about going down and down in value. And the more our dollar goes down, the more the price at the grocery store goes up. The more everything goes up. So if we want to get to a point where people can afford to live again, we need to get them good jobs so they have more money in their pocket, and we need to get our dollar up so the prices go down. So you get 2 for 1 there. More money in your pocket and better prices. So that is how we're going to make it forward. That's point number 1. Let me tell you about point number 2. And when I tell you this, people are going to say, I don't know, Frank. It seems like you're stretching it a bit. But it's true. We're going to do this. We are going to have, in Canada, the best healthcare system in the world. We are going to do it. I have been across this country, and we're going to do it. I have been 35 years in the healthcare industry. I've dealt with doctors. I've dealt with hospitals. I've dealt with policymakers. I've dealt with government agencies, and I know what needs to be done. We have a team, and we're going to do it. And I'll tell you the problem we have. Right now, you have 2 ways to get into the system. Your doctor, if you have one, and even if you have one, you have to wait months and months and months, or a hospital. Years, okay. So we only have 2 doors. We're going to open a 3rd door. We're going to have a 3rd way that you can come into the system. We're going to have it staffed and ready, and I know how to do it. We're going to use something called nurse practitioners. I'm going to announce a lot more further on in the campaign. But you're going to have a 3rd way of coming into the system. So what we see right now, what do we see right now? About 2 years ago, the federal government said there's $40 billion more for healthcare. And everyone went, yeah, okay. Who said, okay, it's solved? No one. We're shoveling the money into the fire, and they said, you know what you got to do? Get a bigger shovel. Or they say, you know what, shovel faster. Money's not the answer. It's not money. We need what we call a paradigm shift, a new way of tackling the problem. That's what I'm going to bring. That's what I'm going to be announcing. And when we do that, we will have the best healthcare system in the world. And the 3rd thing, I talked about 3 things. The 3rd thing I want to do is modernize our government. Yeah. We need to modernize our government. So a lot of people ask me, Frank, why did you leave? Why did you quit? You know, I was elected from 2015 to 2019. They said, why did you quit? And I have to tell people, okay, listen, I didn't quit. My dad never let us quit anything. I signed up for 4 years, and I did 4 years. We're so used to having people never want to leave that if they come and work for 4 years and say it's time to go, they say, oh, you quit. No, I didn't quit. I did try to do this. I got there very quickly. I said, man, this is not working. We need to fix this place. So I am not very partisan. I work with conservative people, I work with NDP and Green, and we put together a bill called Bill 231. And this bill was going to do a lot of things, but it was going to basically make the government run better. It was basically going to say, look, we're taking power from the Prime Minister's office and we're going to give it back to the Speaker because he's lost his powers. I'll explain that at another time because it's detailed. We're going to take power from the Prime Minister, we're going to give it back to the members of Parliament. And we're going to take power from the Prime Minister's office and give it back to the people. We're also going to be more efficient. So we're going to have like 2 chambers. There's only one now. If everything get blocked in there, think of like a highway. If you have 2 lanes, you get more done. I'm an engineer. I want to get things done. Now, I brought that bill, and I realized very quickly, you know, sadly, the powers that be, they don't want to change. They don't want to change. I could see that. Something very unique happened, I can tell you, when I presented the bill. Very unique. Normally when you present the bill, the other side yells, screams, it's terrible. The worst, I've never seen anything so bad. They say, Frank, this is the worst ever. But this time, they did a procedure so that the bill could not be debated. And you know why they didn't want it debated? Because they didn't know who on their side was with me. They didn't know we can't even trust these guys because a lot of the people I spoke to said, Frank, I like what you're doing. We have to change the place. So they said, we can't take a risk. So we're going to use a procedure that doesn't allow the bill to get debated. And then wait the clock, wait till the government falls, and it's over. That's what happened. So I said, okay, you know what? I take a step back. And I wait. I wait till now. Right now. Together, if you spread the word and you tell people this, we're going to make this change. I didn't go back because I couldn't go back to waste my time. I'm serious. But more importantly, I couldn't go back to waste your money. That is happening now, and we are going to change it. Et maintenant, vous allez me permettre de dire quelques mots en français concernant la langue et la culture française. Moi, je suis né ici au Québec. Et quand mes parents allaient pour m'envoyer à l'école, il y avait un petit problème. Ils voulaient que je sois éduqué en français, mais les écoles ne voulaient pas les anglophones. Ils nous bloquaient. Si tes 2 parents ne parlaient pas français, et si vous n'aviez pas la parenté qui parlait français, vous n'aviez pas le droit d'y aller à l'école française. Alors mes parents se sont battus que je puisse avoir ce droit d'aller à l'école en français. Et je suis allé à l'école Sainte-Marcelline ici à Montréal. Mais dans le temps, quand j'étais petit garçon, l'emploi de mon père a été transféré. Et j'ai grandi à Toronto. Mais à Toronto, mes parents ils ont décidé que tu vas continuer tes études en français. Et je suis allé à l'école primaire Sainte-Madeleine. Alors, ici à Montréal, Sainte-Marcelline, à Toronto, Sainte-Madeleine. On se comprend. Après ça, je suis allé à l'école secondaire Étienne Brûlé. École secondaire Étienne Brûlé, en français. Mon père, qui était francophile, il nous amenait, parce que c'est un homme très religieux, catholique, il nous amenait à l'église chaque dimanche, l'église française Saint-Louis de la France. Mes amis de ma jeunesse, ce sont des franco-ontariens. Alors j'ai grandi dans ce milieu-là. Là, quand j'ai retourné au Québec pour me joindre à l'entreprise que ma mère avait lancée, on était 2, après ça 3, on a continué cette vague. On a continué en français. Alors moi, je comprends le défi qui est toujours devant nous en ce qui concerne la protection et la promotion de la langue et la culture française. La langue française, c'est la langue commune du Québec. Et nous devons de protéger nos institutions. C'est un grand défi. Et c'est un défi important que je comprends Et non seulement que je veux le faire, parce que le français fait partie de ma culture. Je suis québécois. So now I'm going to wrap up, but I know before we wrap up, there's something we haven't talked about. There's something to the south of us, on the other side of the border. I'm sorry, don't get mad at me. I have to talk about it. We have to talk about President Trump. Okay, all right. Whether we like it or not, whether we accept it or not, the American people have decided to put as their president a very aggressive, a very hard businessman. So we need to meet fire with fire. Now, there's 5 of us left in the race. Who else is here? Which of the 5 is a businessman? Which of the 5 of us understands how he talks and thinks?
One.
Who would that be? Thank you. I understand Donald Trump. But more than that, and you're all my friends, and I'm so happy to see you all here, and such my family too, I'm sorry, friends and family. And you know me as a nice guy. But my wife is there, my son is here somewhere, and I'm not always a nice guy.
See my other friends.
I'm not always a nice guy. And when I need to be in business, I can deal with this. I'll tell you why. I can't tell you how many hundreds of contracts I've negotiated with Americans over the years. And most of the time, they're very polite, very professional. They might drive a hard bargain, but they're polite and professional. Having said this, I've met Donald Trump characters before. It's not the first time I see this. It's not the first time I've seen someone that's aggressive and rude, and has been rude to our country, unacceptably. But none of that's going to work on me. None of it is going to work on us. We are going to stand up. And I'm going to tell you how we're going to do it. When you're dealing with this kind of a negotiator, this kind of a bully, you fight pound for pound. You get hit, you hit back. You get hit twice, you hit back twice. He puts $1 tariff, fine. We put $1 tariff. He puts 2, we put 2. You put 10, we put 10. He will understand that he is not pushing us around. He will understand that we stand up for it. And together with your help, together with us getting this message out, I and we together will protect your jobs. We'll protect our jobs. We'll protect our businesses. We'll protect our economy. And most importantly, we will fully protect our sovereignty. We will have one Canada, proud and prosperous. It will be ours. We will do it together with your help. I ask you for all your help. Merci beaucoup. Thank you for coming. I'm very grateful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Pour nos amis les médias, on va commencer avec le français. On va prendre 2 questions. Donc, je ne sais pas qui veut commencer.
Je pense que c'est juste moi en anglais.
C'est juste toi en anglais? OK, tu as droit à 2 questions.
It's for a question from Sir Baylis. Sure. Just 1 second. Just going to have to set up here. Okay. So I'm with Joe Bongiorno with the Canadian Press. Will you preserve or abolish the Trudeau government's carbon pricing regime? Yes or no?
The carbon price, okay. Everybody wants a simple answer to a complex question. What I tell people is this about the carbon price. There was a time that you just threw your garbage anywhere. And we said, this is not acceptable. You can't poison the earth. So what we did is we paid for garbage collection, we paid for dumps, we paid for recycling, and we have clean earth thanks to it. And if you've ever been in a city where there's no garbage collection, you'll know what I'm talking about. Then we had a time, it was the normal, where any paint factory would set up beside a river and just throw the extra right into the river. Or the sewage would just be pushed right into St. Lawrence or whatever. And we said, this is not acceptable. And we said, you know what? We have to have water treatment plants, sewage treatment plants. You cannot set up and just dump your garbage into the water, so that we have clean earth, clean water. Today we have it that you can just dump whatever garbage into the air. And I have been to cities in the world, you never see the sun. You don't see a blue sky. The first day I thought, oh, it's foggy. Second day, third, no, it's not fog, it's smog. We do not want that here. So we have to clean the air. The way the carbon tax is presently set up, it's not working, I understand that. But I don't want people to think, oh, there's no problem here. It's hurting the wrong people and it's not getting us any answers. So we're going to fix this, and what we're going to do is drive towards clean air, and when we get that clean air, guess what? We're going to have a great environmental impact. So we are going to fix this carbon tax, but there's going to be something tangible that you can all be proud of, that we can point to and say, we are doing our share, we are having clean air. Clean air, clean environment, that's what we're going to give to our kids. That's what we're going to give to a legacy for everybody here. So you have clean earth, clean water, and clean air.
How many questions are there? 2. Mark Carney is surging ahead in the polling. Are you worried this could be a coronation for him, and what are you going to do to stop that?
Well, look at all these people here. I'm not worried at all. I think it's good to have a debate. I think when Canadians look at the options, I really think when they look at the options, who's going to stand up for Canada? Who's going to go to Ottawa? Who's even talking about going to Ottawa and fixing the place? Who's even talking about fixing our health care? And who actually has created thousands and thousands of good-paying jobs? Well-paying jobs. I am absolutely confident that as we get our message out, we are going to catch and surpass everyone else in the race. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Merci tout le monde. Vous pouvez rester, continuer à discuter un peu. Je déclare la fin de la séance. Alors, je vous souhaite une bonne route à la maison. Parce que je vois des voisins ici qui habitent à Pierrefonds. I see neighbors from Pierrefonds, Roxborough. It's a long road, I know. But it's for a good cause. Keep on supporting Frank Baylis for the next election. Have a nice evening, everybody.